You know, it's hard for me to believe that it's already been 2 years since this game released. And I do remember the launch sort of snuck up on me because I was desperately trying to stay as far away from any news or trailers or potential leaks or anything about this game as possible. Because I wanted to go in with a fresh set of eyes. It served me well for A Link Between Worlds because I did the same sort of thing there. I knew so little about that game that when it came time for me to play it, I enjoyed the hell out of it. And again, for a very brief period of a couple of years, that was, to me, the best Zelda game I'd ever played. And then this came out. Um, I think it was in February when I finally found out what the release date was, and I was like, oh my god, it's already less than a month away? So I caved. I watched the story trailer, and I think even more than, say, for example, the fact that the characters had voices and that they were going with sort of a, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic narrative with Hyrule, but it's very clear that, whatever happened 100 years ago, the kingdom is done. All that's left of, any form of civilization are a couple of little hubs of population like Kakariko Village or Hateno Village or Lurelin Village. But no castle town, no nothing. Just a few little spotted stables here and there, and then of course the racial hubs like Zora's Domain, Goron City, and all that stuff. But I think even more than the narrative approach that trailer took, the thing that bowled me over was just the sweeping silent shots of. I think they had the tundra in the Hebrew region. I think they had the shore near Lurelin Village. They were really trying to make Hyrule have its own character, and that's one of the reasons why the soundtrack is so silent a lot of the time. Just to sort of envelop you and get you in tune with this beautiful yet tragic civilization. And it's clear that they wanted to sort of hit the reset button on the Zelda series. Like Skyward Sword was the last console Zelda game, and I've already gone in depth many times as to the issues that I have with that game. I think it's too heavy-handed with the story. The motion thing didn't do it for me personally, but I can see for other people it did. But it's clear they wanted to hit the reset button, start fresh, and as you're seeing, if for all two of you who've never even seen anything about this game before, as you're seeing that design philosophy extends to Link's colors because he is not wearing the green tunic and the hat anymore. In fact, although he may in certain promotional shots where let me pull out my amiibo. He may be wearing the hood. I guess it's meant to match the champion's tunic, but it really doesn't. And in nearly all of the promotional art, he's just, got his hair out. It's an interesting look for Link. But I think I've jabbered on long enough. It's a couple hours before I got to go to work, so it's just like I want to play around with it. It's been basically over a year since the last time I played this game in any real capacity. So I want to take a look at it with eyes after my initial reaction has sort of stewed for so long. So Nintendo presents, and this is, for those of you who may remember my Metroid Other M playthrough, I may have lambasted this minimalistic approach to just telling the title of the game. But in this case, and of course, the very first voice you hear, I think we all knew who this voice was. I mean, even without watching the trailers, it's very clear.
Open your eyes.
And of course, unlike
Your eyes.
Titus, another convention breaker,
Wake up, Link.
you're not putting in his name because people actually say it. And although his name may be written in stone, our hero is amnesiac. He has no idea where he is, what has happened, or what brought him here. And for those of you who may be on the Discord and have listened to one of my numerous rants that I like to do, I badmouthed Captain Marvel because I don't like when, especially movies, because there's such a short span of time that you can actually convey a story. I don't like when movies use amnesia just because you're trying to tell a story on two fronts. You're trying to explain the character's past and then, tell the story of the present. And I don't think it works. I don't even like it in fiction or in literary fiction, because telling a story, it's designed to get you in the shoes of the character, I guess. Howsoever, when you think about the name Link, why is he called that? It's because he is the player's link to the world of Hyrule. So, having a silent protagonist who does not remember anything can get you in his shoes. Howsoever, just as this world is alien to him,
That is a Sheikah slate. Take it. It will help guide you after your long slumber.
just as this world is alien to him, and, he's stepping into a place that he does not know, we're all familiar with Hyrule. This, however, it is very clear that whatever Hyrule we're about to step in has technology the likes of which we have not seen in a Zelda game before. And you might think, oh, it's this little steampunk little screen device. It's designed to emulate the Switch / Wii U screen. And that's true to a degree. But the technological advancements of Hyrule extend far beyond just your Sheikah iPad. So whoever left Link here, assuming anybody left Link here, left him some clothes that have not held up very well.
Hold the Sheikah slate up to the pedestal. That will show you the way.
And in looking at this, this was not Nintendo's first try at voice acting, because there have been other games in the past that have used voice acting. I still stand by to this day that the best effort that a Nintendo franchise has taken with voice acting was Kid Icarus Uprising. This falls well below that standard. Howsoever, is it a good first attempt for Zelda? I don't know. I'll leave that up to all of you to decide. But as we open the doors and the sunlight pours through, Link's eyes take a second to adjust.
Link, you are the light. Our light. That must shine upon Hyrule once again.
Now go.
Now go.
And I know that the word on the street was at the time that this was not a game that was going to be so heavy-handed with tutorials and hand-holding. But at the same time, I was skeptical. I didn't quite know what to think. I mean, it's obvious that, you know, they were drawing inspiration from the open world game formula that had been done to death by this point. The success that Skyrim had sort of pushed that style of video game to the stratosphere. I mean, obviously there had been things that had been done before it, but that was the point when it was obvious that it was the trend for video games. So, what kind of fate would Hyrule have by taking the open world approach? This is what it took. And in many ways, Hyrule itself is the main character of this game. You can say Link, you can say Zelda, but even the soundtrack knows when to be silent for you to appreciate the world around you. And we have an old man, but I mean, here we are in this place called the Great Plateau. And I see Death Mountain off in the distance. Let's take a closer look. Now, I obviously did not know how to do this before. Whoa. What is that? Is that movement on Death Mountain? What the hell is that? Again, I obviously did not know how to do that at the time. But taking a glance in the entire scope of this world, and you look and we see what is probably Hyrule Castle, but for some reason there's these monolithic structures behind it. Now, of course, we know that that is the chamber, like the chambers where the Guardians were stored. But it makes you think. The design choice to have Link as an amnesiac is to sort of parallel the player being shoved into a Hyrule that is so different from anything we've seen before. Because whatever's crawling on Death Mountain, I mean, let's just take a look. Let's. What the hell is that thing? So I place a map marker. I'm gonna go into my Sheikah Slate. I'm gonna look at the map. Oh. What the hell is draw distance? There is none. Like, holy shit. So good. And that right there sort of gives you an idea of the scope of this world. That, yeah, you can see the really big landmarks up close. Well, not up close, but in plain view. But there's so much more so many more secrets that you need to explore as you unearth this kingdom that has essentially been asleep for a century. And I like the breadcrumb approach that it gives you for this opening area, the Great Plateau, which is essentially this game's tutorial area. But it is so different from
Link. Head for the point marked on the map in your Sheikah Slate.
And this was the moment when I was like, oh no, you're not gonna really hold my hand, are you? Nope, it's not. I think that is one of the only times that the game will actually outright say, hey, go here, do this now, because we want you to do that. But I had concerns, obviously, as I'm sure many people did. Apple! It restores half a heart. Eat it fresh or cook it to increase its effect. Wow. We can cook apples? Here's this bearded gentleman over here. That's a very recognizable beard, to any Zelda fan, but let's just pretend we don't know who he is. Oh, well met, stranger. It's rather unusual to see another soul in these parts. Who are you? Me? I'll spare you my life story. I'm just an old fool who has lived here alone for quite some time now. What brings a bright-eyed young man like you to a place like this? Where are we? Answering a question with a question. That's fair enough. As I cannot imagine our meeting to be a simple coincidence, I shall tell you. This is the Great Plateau. According to legend, this is the birthplace of the entire kingdom of Hyrule. That's a familiar-looking piece of architecture. That temple there, long ago it was the site of many sacred ceremonies. Ever since the decline of the kingdom 100 years ago, it has sat abandoned in a state of decay. Yet another forgotten entity, a mere ghost of its former self. I shall be here for some time. Please let me know if I may be of service. Sure. Ooh, what is this? Looks like an apple. A baked apple! Direct heat has softened and sweetened this apple. Eat it to restore 3/4 of a heart. So cooking has a good effect. Cooking in a Zelda game. Okay, cool. I beg your pardon. I do believe that is my baked apple. You can't just go about taking whatever you please. Forgive me. I could not resist pulling your leg. Please help yourself. An apple and an open flame make for a succulent treat. Okay, I guess he doesn't mind me taking his stuff, so what is this? A torch. It'll stay lit once ignited, but if you put it away, it will be extinguished until you light it again. So, this game has wooden items, it has steel items. Wooden items you can set on fire and sort of function as a torch, but this is the only thing that is basically permanent unless you break it. Well then, just help yourself to that torch there. And how, may I ask, are you planning to use it? Well, I could use it as a weapon. That seems kind of silly. To set things on fire, that seems kind of pyromaniac-esque. Or, it's a secret to everybody. I see. Well then, do as you please. There are plenty of monsters ahead of here, though. Remember that you can use that as a weapon if need be. However, do not just swing it around without purpose. You must face your opponents and lock your sights on them. This is the extent of this game's tutorial. It'll show little button prompts, and that's it. There'll be some context-sensitive stuff when you do certain things, like parrying or getting a headshot with a bow. But overall, this game is incredibly light with its hand-holding, which is such a breath of fresh air. It breadcrumbs you, and as I'm seeing this interesting little drop-off. Oh. Weird little overlook. A circle of lily pads. I wonder. Yahaha! Okay, so the Koroks are here. Could this be a post-Wind Waker world? Who knows? Who is Hestu? My kind couldn't see the children of the forest. Well, a Korok seed. So if I find this Hestu, maybe you'll give me something for handing this seed off. Fishy fish! Hyrule bass! So, you can hunt for food. There is no, come on, Link. There is no hunger mechanic, so it's not as though you can actually get famished and your stats be lost or anything like that. But it is something that you will want to do if you want to take advantage. Link, work with me here. Stop trying to get down low. And what do we have here? A sword in the stone. Have I found the master sword already? No, it's just a rusty broadsword. It's seen better days, but it breaks quickly. Interesting. So this broadsword has been ravaged by time. I wonder if there is any way... Hot-footed frog. I wonder if there's any way to unrust it. That seems kind of silly, but who knows? Such a thing might be possible. There's all sorts of stuff that you can collect. Butterflies, which fly away. Frogs, which skip away. Fish, which swim away. Perhaps being stealthy is the key. What is that? Temple of Time. I knew it looked familiar. This tree branch does not seem like the best thought out idea. The Temple of Time. What is it doing here on this plateau? Looks like a bokoblin from the Wind Waker. Oh no! He sees me! Yeesh. Whatever will I do? Haha! Perfect dodge! Flurry rush! Get fucked! Oh wait, I was just using a stick. It was not enough. Where are my weapons? I have none. You'll have to forgive me. It's been over a year since I played this game, and this is my first time really messing around with it on the Switch, so the controls are a little bit foreign, but I'll get used to it. And of course, enemies drop their stuff, a horn, a fang, and a club. And I could have, if I was any good at video games, have stolen that club after I knocked him down. An ancient spring from this weird-looking statue. Looks almost like a bemus. Suspicious. I wonder if they come to life. Aha! Let's use the club that your friend dropped. Ow! Don't you snarl at me. Die. So, one of the things that this game introduces is the idea that you can just throw your weapon because, hey, pretty much every weapon in this game is expendable and will be destroyed over the course of your playthrough. So, once your durability is low, you can throw it for a little bit of extra damage. And I picked up some Hylian trousers. Interesting. This seems to be a less worn version of what I have. I wonder if somebody has been here planting stuff more recently. I wonder. And as I was saying before, this game essentially hit the reset button on the Zelda series in terms of Link's design. Although it's not uncommon in the games prior to this, where Link starts out dressed like a bumpkin, like some country fool. In Twilight Princess, he was dressed like a ranch hand because that's what he was. Skyward Sword, it was some really, really mail carrier boy looking outfit because Skyloft Knights. Those bokoblins are having fun, but they've got TNT near them. Let's ruin their day. This is, again, one of those really good ideas that just breadcrumbing the player towards your destination, because obviously you're going to be heading towards that glowy circle on the map. So they give you little snippets like this to say, hey, I wonder if I could do that. Oh, there's a skull hideout for bokoblins. And there's a lantern there. I wonder. But I don't have anything to shoot it with yet. It's going to be forever before I get to a dungeon that gives me the bow, where I can fight generic Nintendo Eye Monster number 9001. Let's do myself a favor and sneak up. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting dumbasses. Wild tribesmen. Pig creatures with scary bat ears. Ha-ha! I'm invincible! My Boko Club is badly... What is this? A bow? Now? No dungeon? Yep, because the bows are just as destructible as the rest of the weapons in this game. And that was a stance that certain people may have taken issue with. And I can understand where they were coming from there. Because does it get you attached to any of the items in that case? And the answer is, of course, no. But at the same time, it lets the developers sort of come up with interesting ideas for weapon aesthetics that you can pick up. And the shield, same thing. There is not just a shield or two for you to collect. There's actual stuff involved. And you could do World of Warcraft style transmog if you want, because there are numerous outfit styles in this game and numerous weapon styles, and if you like a certain type, you can hoard a certain type. There's elemental variants on these weapons, so there's stuff to do, stuff to collect. It's awesome like that. And I did not pick up any arrows from those bokoblins. Oh, and this is another thing. Link is tired, but then... back to action, like a Power Ranger. And this is one of the things that I really enjoyed, because this game was... It took the Wind Waker style approach that had been sort of adopted by Skyward Sword. Like, Link is very expressive. For good reason. What they did with the art direction in this game, just the fact that you can see this mountainous range in the distance, and again, the lack of draw distance and letting you see all of these things like the dueling peaks here, or whatever the hell was crawling on Death Mountain, and may still be crawling on Death Mountain. It may be on the other side. I think it's still there. I think it's just obscured, but I think it's still there. And then another thing. Let's look to the northwest, see if I can see anything yet. Well, again, Hyrule Castle sitting there. Maybe not yet. But I'm at my objective for whatever the hell this is. Link, you don't have to climb on everything. I see wall, I must climb. You're like Jeff Hardy, jumping off of every ladder in sight. Placing a Sheikah Slate on the pedestal. This is good. Yeah. I love Link's special animations for when he encounters this mechanic for the first time, because he's just so bewildered and confused, just like us. Like, what's going to happen? Watch for falling rocks. What are you talking about? Nothing's about to happen. Or is it? Oh, God. And this is where 100 years, Hyrule finally wakes up. Because not only this tower raises up, but every other one dotted around the landscape. Hebra, Eldin, and I see Akala there as well. Every single one of these dots the landscape. But something else is awoken too. Great Plateau Tower. And interestingly enough, it adds to your Hyrule map system by putting a teardrop on it, giving it some kind of runic power. Wow. Boy, this is a small-looking little region. It's okay. It's the tutorial. It's the Great Plateau. But as I said, something else is awoken too.
Try to remember. You have been asleep for the past 100 years. The beast. When the beast regains its true power, this world will face its end. Now then, you must hurry, Link,
Listen to that piano.
before it's too late.
Anybody who's a fan of the Zelda series knows what that melody is, and that confirms basically what we knew all along, whose voice that is. That was, of course, Zelda's Lullaby. And following the Sheikah Slate leads me to this tower. And throughout the rest of this game, you know, I was pointing at it before to sort of say, hey, there's this sort of ominous-looking castle over there. It's probably Hyrule Castle. Got these monoliths jutting out nearby. But throughout the rest of this game, unless you're on the other side of a mountain, you are going to see that magenta and black vortex just surrounding Hyrule Castle. What did I say when I talked about this game and not bludgeoning you over the head with, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do this? You don't have Navi saying, hey, look, listen. What you have is the world itself telling you, hey, there's this calamity over at the castle. It's up to you to stop it. Or, hey, there's this giant fucking creature that you can see off in the distance. And where in God's name is Va Meadow? Like, that's way too far south. For some reason, I do not see it. And this is one of the very rare times that I don't. It's probably obstructed by the mountain. It does lapse around, so I'll see it eventually. Of course, I'm speaking in spoilerific terms of this game, but if you have not played it yet, you've had long enough. I don't know why you haven't, because it puts on a clinic of just how to pace a video game. It doesn't get bogged down. My. It would seem we have quite the enigma here. This tower and others like it have erupted across the land, one after another. It is almost as though a long-dormant power has awoken quite suddenly. Indeed, this Sheikah Tower and other glowy things like it all around the land have awoken, but so has that beast. If you do not mind me asking, did anything odd occur while you were atop that tower? I heard a voice. Well now, a voice you say. And did you happen to recognize this mysterious voice? No. I see. Well, that is unfortunate. I assume you caught sight of that atrocity enshrouding the castle. That is Calamity Ganon. Over 100 years ago, that vile entity brought the kingdom of Hyrule to ruin. It appeared suddenly and destroyed everything in its path. So many innocent lives were lost in its wake. For a century, The very symbol of our kingdom, Hyrule Castle, has managed to contain that evil. But just barely. There it festers, building its strength for the moment it will unleash its blight upon the land once again. It would appear that moment is fast approaching. I must ask you, courageous one, do you intend to make your way to the castle? I do. I had a feeling you would say that. Here on this isolated plateau, we are surrounded on all sides by steep cliffs with no way down. If you were to try to jump off, well, no death could be more certain, or more foolish. Of course, if you had a paraglider like mine, that would be quite another story. Paraglider? Oh, piqued your interest, have I? Yes, I didn't come soaring down here on my own feathery wings, you know. Leave that to the Rito. Worry not. I will happily agree to give you my paraglider, but not for nothing. Let's see now. How about I trade it for a bit of treasure that slumbers nearby? So here we are on the isolated plateau with only one way down. We gotta get treasure for the old man with the very impressive beard. Fair enough. Come, let me show you something. I wish his staff and lantern were a weapon you could get in this game, because I want to beat people over the head with that thing. Do you see that structure there? The one shining with a strange light? Oh, do I? That's the same light that is... And this is what I love. Again, you can see off in the distance, those Sheikah towers over there. You can see back there, same thing. If it's not obstructed, you can see it. And that's awesome. It began glowing at the exact moment those towers rose up from the ground. I would think such a place might house some sort of treasure, wouldn't you? Treasure for the paraglider. A fair exchange, I believe. Fair enough. Sounds good. And here we are, like right before noon. I think time is at a standstill before you actually get to the Sheikah Tower. But as you can see, on the lower right, we now have time. I'm curious about something. So, I already know about this, so I'm going to warp to the top of the tower. That's fast traveling in this game. You ever go to a Sheikah structure, whether it's a shrine or the tower or the Shrine of Resurrection, you can warp there. It's kind of cool like that. I guess it's some mystical power of the Sheikah Slate that allows Link to dematerialize. I'm not sure why. Where are you, Meadow? There it is! It's like he spawned all of a sudden. Now I wonder where that pin is at. Holy crap. I wonder if I can see that monstrosity climbing on Death Mountain, and indeed I can. Let's just put a marker right on it. Huh. Interesting. It's almost like it's in corners of the map. Well, not exactly corners per se, but I wonder if there's something down here. And I wonder if there's something over here. Of course, I already know. But that's it for so far, guys. I'm gonna get off. I've gotta go to work really soon. But I guess I just wanted to mess around with Breath of the Wild in a non-stream setting so I could sort of collect my thoughts and just ramble, as I so often do, about what I consider to be the greatest game ever made. Now, do I think that there are things that can absolutely be improved? Yes, I do. But as far as setting the new mold, the new template, I could not be more excited about the future going forward. So, thank you all for joining me, and next time, more Great Plateau. So I'll see you then.